from the Danny Phil Talk channel, Danny Shaw, and Parker from the Parker
That's
Get
that
a
kid
Job.
who was trying to get on our show and we wouldn't let him. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then, hey, I don't know if you know, then he went over onto Cameron's channel the next day and he's like, and I was on a show and they wouldn't even let me on there.
What, really?
Yeah. And then Cameron's got Trent Horn on with him, and Trent Horn's like, what? How dare they not let you on?
Well, the funny thing is, when I made a video about this, I called that guy a kid and all that. And then people were saying, you're calling him a kid, but he's actually a 32-year-old philosophy teacher.
He's 30. What? That Danny one?
Yeah.
He's 32 and a philosophy teacher?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That sucks, man.
That made it even worse for me. Because I call him kid because he clearly acts like and looks like and sounds like a kid.
Yeah, that's how he is in when he's teaching. Well, that's embarrassingly terrible.
Apparently he's a teacher and he's 32. What the heck? I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone
Wait, no, then he's stupider than I thought, because you can kind of dismiss some of this stuff if it's a kid, right? Okay, you're a kid, you haven't been through anything, you don't know, you spent your entire life on the internet, you don't know how to, interact like an adult. If you're a 32-year-old professor or something like that, you got no excuse.
Wait a minute, maybe he's introducing him here. Let me see.
Yeah, let's get the intro.
Let's get it.
Of that video, one of Peterson's young inquisitors posted on X. Peterson was no Christian. Let's move on. Are there any actual Christians that want to debate? Which is quite the challenge, but one that, of course, we on Uncensored are only too keen to facilitate. So making the Uncensored debut from the Danny Phil Talk channel, Danny Shaw, and Parker from the Parker Get a Job.
I didn't even say, man.
Debut from the Danny Phil Talk channel, Danny Shaw, and Parker from the Parker Get a Job.
Can you imagine if this was Muhammad Hijab? Why didn't you introduce me?
Why did you introduce me as philosophical genius and greatest philosopher of all time?
Job channel, and we've arranged for them to take on two of the most notorious.
Can I at least call this guy a kid? Like
Parker from the Parker.
They both look like they're 15 to me. I don't know.
He looks like he could be anything.
It's funny. You see Parker. His parents used to watch Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and they're like, "Oh, our kid's gonna be just like Parker Lewis."
What's this guy's name?
That's funny.
Danny Phil Talk.
Huh?
Danny Phil Talk. Danny Phil Talk. I have an MA in. Wait, no. What the heck? This is what it says. You'll see that a lot of my content is on philosophy. I'll talk about philosophy. I have a what in philosophy? I don't know what this guy is. People kept saying he's a philosophy teacher. I'm not really sure if that's even true. Anyway,
well, if someone says it in the chat, it's got to be true.
Like lots of people in the comments and people who support him were saying that too. I don't know. Content that promotes if anyone actually knows if that's true, please let me know, because
I can't say I care a whole lot. It will just affect.
Oh, there he is. Well, he's in the chat actually. Yeah, look, Danny Phil Talk.
Let's he jump in whenever anyone's talking about him?
Danny. Hey, is it true that
you're great? Danny's in the chat.
Is it true that you're 32 years old and a philosophy teacher, or is this just a rumor? Because it's very difficult to believe. Please let us know if that's true. Please let us know that if that's true. We have to know. We have to know right now.
We have to know.
We have to know right now. Please let us know. Please let us know. Please inform us. Please inform us whether it is in fact true that you are a 32-year-old person and that you are also a philosophy teacher. Please let us know.
You can go ahead and play some of it while you're waiting for his answer, man.
Fine, man.
Channel. And we've arranged for them to take on two of the most notorious and fearsome debaters on the internet, who also happen to be conservative Christians. The king of blood sport debating, Andrew Wilson from The Crucible, and the equally forthright author comedian.
1.8-inch PP.
It's funny how
it says Danny left the chat.
So Danny says, I am 32, I adjunct for a university, and I teach high school.
Oh, teach high school. Okay.
So, in your face.
32, dang.
In your face. See, you were saying it's not possible. You were making fun of him. He's indeed 32 years old and a philosophy teacher.
People saying thought he was 19. It would be like that movie.
I thought he was 16. Man.
It would be like that movie Catch Me If was it Catch Me If You Can, where like, oh no, that was the reverse. That was the reverse. He pretended to be a teacher even though he was a student. So yeah, That would be funny. Hey, you could actually walk into class like on the first day and sit down like you're a student and listen to whatever everyone's saying, and then jump up at some point and go, "Ha ha! I'm actually the teacher." That'd be cool.
At the end of the school year, do people still come up to you and say, "Hey, are you really a teacher, or is this just a prank?" Or I don't know.
Yeah, if someone who looks really young stood up and started teaching my high school class, I would be like, I would think that someone's playing a prank or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right.
Interesting stuff. But hey, good to know.
Good to know. Good to know.
Glad you
Now
told
let's see how he debates. He may be a beast, in which case we will feel totally humiliated.
You know what?
Let's see.
Funny?
In other words, I thought he was a kid. I thought he's like 18 or 20 or something like that. So I was expecting him to argue like one. But if he's 32 and teaches philosophy, then he may be more of a force to be reckoned with than I thought. So let's go ahead and see what he argues.
Okay, good.
What are you waiting on? Christmas?
Some debaters on the internet who also happen to be conservative Christians. The king of blood sport debating, Andrew Wilson.
Andrew Wilson!
I find it funny how Andrew is just takes this compliment and this description of himself like completely seriously.
Yeah, you're supposed to go big up the blood sport debate, man.
From The Crucible, and the equally forthright author, comedian, and commentator Jay Dyer from the Jay Dyer channel. Welcome.
He calls him a comedian.
Did he call him a comedian?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Is Jay Dyer a comedian?
He calls himself a comedian. He does actually some good odd comedy, man, sometimes.
I'm guessing he's totally deadpan because he seems like serious almost. He'll occasionally smile and chuckle or something like that, but he looks like dead serious like forever.
He has this character called Randy Balls. Yeah.
To all four of you. Well, let me start with you, Parker. Were you surprised by the reaction?
Danny, how old is Parker? Is he 12?
So is Parker one of the people at Jubilee?
Yeah, he was one of those people. He was at Jubilee, and he was doing like this, like.
Oh, okay. Did he actually talk to Jordan Peterson, or was he left out?
I'm not sure. I don't remember if he actually did.
I don't remember. I didn't see all of it.
I remember that when
someone said Parker is 56. Wow.
No, I'm serious. I mean, is he 12 or is he also like above 30 or something? I don't know. Please let me know.
Look at Andrew. He's already got the cigarette. People are like, is he smoking? Yeah, that's what he does.
To what went down with Jordan Peterson?
Actually, no. I was actually expecting this to happen, as I knew before this, as I watched the Alex O'Connor debate against Jordan Peterson, that he was very, very not likely to, like being associated with Christianity. So I knew actually going into this that I was going to ask him a question specifically about whether or not he believes this to be the case, and that he would likely be not very upfront with his answer. So I actually kind of.
So here's the funny thing. The Jubilee system, pretty sure as it works, as they make it. I remember this from their instructions that they send out. Specifically focuses on not what you want to talk about as a guest or as a challenger, but rather what the talking point of the main figure in the middle is. So in this case, Jordan Peterson has I think 5. Topics or 5 arguments that he makes, and then the people around are invited to discuss that topic. So they're not supposed to discuss whatever they have on their own minds. So going into it, trying to discuss whatever they have on their own minds is already going into it in an incorrect way, which also happened with Danny, for example. Like the topic was in his conversation with Jordan Peterson, which is also why it easily derailed. And Danny, you should have seen this. Was that his argument or his statement was that everybody, even atheists, worship something, although they do not know it. To then try to make it all about his personal specific beliefs already goes into the wrong direction, according to the program itself and according to the argument that Jordan Peterson made. You can't just derail it like that and then expect it to continue, Powerful.
Expected there to be a response like this. Now, I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did, as there are literally tens of millions of views on clips associated with mine and Danny's against Jordan Peterson all over social media. So it's actually really cool to see that,
Really?
Really cool to see what? That's what you want to be known for? Oh, you're a Christian. Oh, you won't answer.
And we already reviewed it. There is nothing at all that was said in this conversation, at least the one with Danny. I haven't seen the other one with Peter Parker. But there was nothing said there that was actually of any substance or of any importance to the arguments in question.
Do not put that crap up on the screen, man.
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Not doing that.
We'll just trust that Parker was on there.
I'm not doing that.
Let's see. Peter Parker. Where's Peter Parker? I don't even see Peter Parker. Doesn't look like he was on there for a long time. You know who the best person here was from what I've seen?
This lady.
This, whatever her name is, I haven't looked at her name.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is, whenever she came on here, she was fantastic and she actually stuck to the topic and was also good, which is why Jordan Peterson also remarked and said, that is a very good question.
That is a very good question.
So she was actually on point.
Yep. Lots of other people were just looking for a
gotcha moments and stuff.
Oh, no, I'm famous because I did the gotcha.
I don't even see Danny here appear.
Yeah, no one cares.
Oh, here he is.
Like 0 people care.
There he is.
Do not play that crap, man.
Okay.
We'll take his word for it. Thanks, Jubilee. We can't stand you for your copyright positions.
Copyright losers.
Pierce Morgan is better than you.
Yes.
Everyone across the board, whether it be Christians, atheists, Muslims, right, etc.
Are we interested in any of this?
Yeah, what does apologetics mean? I don't know. It means when you say sorry a lot.
Yeah, apologetics. It comes from the Greek word apologion, which was a legal term in ancient Greece. Matter of fact, yeah. So Plato's Apology is the story of the trial of Socrates, and you can see that Socrates is not apologizing. Socrates is not apologizing. He enrages people and they sentence him to death because he ticks them off. An apology was a defense. So you had the accusations, you had the prosecution, and they're raising the charges against you. Look what this guy's done. He's corrupting the youth and so on. Your apology is a defense speech. And so this gets used by Peter in 1 Peter, and he commands Christians to always be prepared with a defense for everyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that you have. And so it's like when people are challenging you, hey, why do you believe this? Why do you believe this? Why do you believe that? At least on the big issues, you should be prepared to give a defense. And so he uses the word there, and we take it, we use the word apologetic. So apologetics is giving a rational defense for what you believe. So anyway, point is, everyone does apologetics. We use it's most commonly used in Christianity, but for people who are defending Christianity or for Muslims who are defending something, but everyone who's defending any position you hold to, you're doing apologetics in that sense.
Yeah. So short question is basically when you say sorry a lot. That's
actually see that like he's really not wanting to answer the question there because he doesn't want to be associated with Christianity for some reason.
And Danny, I mean, you were the smart ass in the room, according to Jordan. What's been your?
He was not a smart ass. He was a smart ass. Get it right, man. He was a smart ass.
Reaction to the fallout?
I'm generally happy that that people can see the frustration that we have with Peterson. I would say that atheists are not the only ones that are frustrated. Christians are, right? Here we have Peterson saying things like, yeah, I think Jesus might have resurrected, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, I might be a Christian in some sense. I'm a one-of-a-kind Christian.
So here's the thing.
Why? Jordan, I don't think Jordan, I think he's literally like, I don't understand these things. I don't, and therefore I'm not like, this is my definite position. He's like,
well, to be very honest, I still personally think that that Jordan Peterson overdoes the whole.
It depends on what you mean by that, and
that's true. That's annoying as crap.
I think he overdoes it, and I think he also unnecessarily avoids certain answers and all that. However, once again, that was not the topic. So lots of people out there, thousands, maybe millions of people see it and say, "Oh, look, Jordan Peterson got this story." I personally still. And I see that I actually have the minority position here. I don't see anything wrong with what Jordan Peterson did there in those responses. I think he was completely on point. But this is also the thing, like when you are a super intelligent individual like me, just kidding. So I don't think that he actually did anything wrong. I think he answered exactly what was being asked. I think he deliberately denied to give an answer when there was no answer to be given, when it had nothing to do with the topic. He also even explicitly said this is personal. The only issue that I still have with all of it is who put the whole Christian thing there.
That's the biggest problem.
When and how did Jordan Peterson accept the designation of one Christian? Under what circumstances did he accept that? Because that could change a lot of things. Otherwise, him saying,
well, I am a Christian in a sense, but I wouldn't really call myself a Christian. I mean, that's what you said.
I don't think it's necessarily a big problem. I think he's being quite honest about it.
I think so too. And keep in mind, guys, it's not always an easy thing to answer if you're not sure about certain things. Like Dawkins would consider himself a cultural Christian. There are all sorts of people who consider themselves cultural Christians. So if you say, hey, are you a Christian? What do you answer? You could clarify and say, well, I'm a cultural Christian, but not a, believing Christian or something like that. The point is, there's some gray areas if you haven't actually, like even you, if someone like a month ago were to say, are you a Christian? You kind of wishy-washy on, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be baptized first, and I'm supposed to, it's not always easy to give answers in certain situations. And then when Danny's like, you're either a Christian or not Christian. No, you could be a Christian in different senses. Like, what do you mean? A born again in the evangelical Christian sense of born again, or cultural Christian? And then you have, what if you start believing that, put it this way, asking Jordan Peterson if he's a Christian is kind of like asking Jordan Peterson if he believes in the Bible. Right? Like, he obviously believes in the Bible in a sense. He doesn't believe in the Bible in the way your average Christian would believe in it. So if you were to say, yes or no, do you believe in the Bible? It's like, I think he would say, and justifiably in this situation, what do you mean? What do you mean? Do I believe that it's all inspired by God? And
what do you mean?
I don't know. I think he would say, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
So anyway, it's the point is these questions aren't always easy to answer. And if you're in the category of someone who, well, if you mean this, then yes. If you mean that, then no. Or I'm not sure about this, or I'm not sure about that. Then if you just ask, are you a Christian? And you give a yes or no answer, you're misleading people. You'd be misleading people. So I think that's kind of what Jordan Peterson is going on with Jordan Peterson. But yeah, and I think in that situation, as far as on the show, it's, if you ask me, am I a Christian? And I start explaining it, well, that's not what we're here to talk about. I made a claim that you worship something. And if this is going to be you interrogating me about my belief, that's not what we're here to discuss. And all these guys right here, I think they're justifiably annoyed in the sense that they were told they're talking to a Christian. That's where they're justifiably annoyed. And that's where, so the blame there is on whoever put this together and told these guys that they're debating a Christian. They expect to go in there and be debating Christianity. That's the issue. As far as all the other stuff, if you have a top, that's just annoying, man. If you say, here's the topic, you worship something, everyone worships something. Now go. Are you a Christian?
I find it funny. Somebody is saying like, "Oh, you're just coping and defending Jordan Peterson." David, do you remember how much I bashed Jordan Peterson when it came up?
Yeah.
Okay, when I disagreed with him, when I was brutal on occasion with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just, why would we be interested in if Jordan Peterson's right about something, I'll say he's right. If he's wrong about something, I'll say he's wrong. If he says, I don't want to answer whether I'm a Christian because I'm not sure about various things, and whatever answer I give would be misleading to some people, and it has nothing to do with the topic that I'm addressing right now, which is whether everyone worships something. That's what we're here to address. And to go down a rabbit trail of my beliefs and why I don't want to answer certain questions is like, what's next? You're gonna like if you sit down and say, hey, everyone worships something, and you sit down and go, hey, what's up with your wife, man? Are you allowed to just like divert the topic to something that is not the topic like that?
Worship your wife?
And then if you don't answer, then shame on you. You're a coward. I don't know.
So here's my personal thing. I actually not too long ago, before I officially started identifying as a Christian, I called my own priest and and asked him and said, hey, people ask me sometimes, and I honestly don't know when people ask me what to say, because on the one hand, I want to identify as a Christian and want to be part of it and feel good about it and all that. On the other hand, I'm not really sure what it really means to say that I'm a Christian. So he told me it is good to identify as a Christian, especially in your position. However, if you ask me, he said, save it until you personally and consciously acknowledge that Jesus is your Lord and Savior. That's what he said. Until then, you can just say that you're on your path to baptism and all that. So, and I did actually leave it until that. That's what I did. It can depend on person. Hey,
you know what's funny?
What?
AP brought me this Coke Zero here, and I just looked at it, and at first I thought it said homilies. Isn't that funny? It says homies, but at first I was like, what, homilies? How did you get a homilies Coke?
You see? Homilies?
It's all wishy-washy. We're all frustrated, and I think that the video is the culmination of that frustration.
Okay, well, the good news, like I told you, is we found two far from shy Christians to take you on in this arena. Andrew Wilson, let me start with you. What was your reaction to these two and their showdown with Jordan Peterson?
I mean, I kind of have to agree with Danny a little bit. It's like, like people have been wanting.
Peter Parker is too overjoyed about every single thing that he hears, man. Look at this.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like, it's funny. It seems like, I don't know, I've never seen him before. He seems like a happy guy. Like there are lots of like angry atheists. He doesn't seem angry. I don't know.
It's like, hey, how you doing, man? Answer. Oh, yeah, okay, I like that. Anyway,
this guy to take the position on whether he's a Christian or not a Christian forever, on the right, the left, center, basically across the board. Now, I'll always be in some ways grateful to Jordan Peterson. He was one of the first who kind of started the trend of standing up to the pronouns people, which was pretty epic to watch. But ultimately,
Parker's laughing about pronouns.
He's kind of a shell of his former self.
LGBTQ.
He didn't look great going through that debate. He looked kind of run down. I think that him being on with the Daily Wire probably hasn't been great for him. He's not he doesn't have the kind of edge that he used to have. But ultimately, I mean, I was actually kind of,
so here's the thing. Jordan Peterson did not change one bit. Okay. I'm sorry to say this, but there are some people out there who are acting like, oh yeah, Jordan Peterson, he used to be more edgy, he used to be this, he used to be that, but something happened with the Daily Wire. Nothing happened at all. Absolutely nothing happened. He's the exact same person. You will not find him say significantly worse things or significantly more brave and edgy things years ago than he does today. He's very much equal in his tone, in his in how edgy he is, in how open he is and offensive he is, and so on. He's exactly the same.
Yeah.
The only people that actually changed are those who are on the receiving end of his words out there. He is. And this is just a very, very frequent attempt to somehow bash the Daily Wire and to bash Zionists and also, to be honest, to bash Jews. I don't think this is the case in Andrew Wilson's case, but it is a trend, and some people hop on the trend for one reason or the other. Jordan Peterson is still the same as he was when he first became famous. He did not become softer before or after he joined Daily Wire. This is complete nonsense.
Yeah, I think the difference between Jordan Peterson now and Jordan Peterson like 12 years ago is he's dealing with issues that are different from, and he's sort of out of his field of expertise on some of these issues. He's learning as they go. In other words, he was already like an expert on the topics that he deals with, and he's talking about psychology back then.
Prove me wrong then. Go ahead, prove me wrong.
Whereas now he's talking about Christianity and then Islam, and hey, how can people reconcile? And he doesn't, especially when he's talking about Islam, he didn't know a lot of what he's talking about. And then even when he like studies the Bible, he's like studying everything from like a psychological perspective, and what are the psychological issues underlying all these things and so on. And so anyway, he just he's on different ground now. And I mean, the Jubilee's the Jubilee and his discussion with Richard Dawkins are a perfect example. It's here's what I've thought psychologically about all these issues and why they're important. People need to get to the bottom of them, and not really understanding how your average sort of aggressive atheist is going to come at you. And he's sitting there, oh, if I explain this to them, and not realizing it's not going to work. If you wanted your average atheist to understand your like psychological insights into religious belief or something like that, it's going to be like a long conversation. It's not going to be something that really will work if people are like blasting you in a debate setting.
Look at this dummy. Yes, the Jewish people hate Christianity. Go try and preach in Israel. So I'm going to tell you one thing.
Go try and preach is Israel.
I'm just going to tell you one thing, ESTG. Look up the channel, So Be It, and look at their videos, and then come back and say this again with a straight face.
And hey, AP, did I or did I not talk to a Jewish, Messianic Jewish, so this guy, a Christian, did I not sit down with him and asked him, he's been preaching for 20 years in Israel. He said the most common reaction you get from Jews when he says that he, as a Jew, believes that Jesus is the Messiah, he said the most common reaction is they're interested.
Yes.
Like they want to know why. Like, because they
that's
don't.
also what you see on the videos, by the way.
And yes, well, but no, that's not what I saw from Nick Fuentes. Block that dork, man.
Freaking idiot. Don't get your information from online memes, man.
Kind of glad to see it. You know, it's about time we know, are you or aren't you? You know, get off the shit or get off the pot, essentially, right? Are you a Christian or aren't you a Christian? That's a fair question.
And why is it up to you?
And Jay, I mean, ultimately, these two young men on the panel today, they're sworn atheists. You obviously are not. So if you were actually conducting a debate about their atheism against your Christianity, how would you take them on, given what happened to Jordan?
Well, it depends on what you mean. Depends on what you mean.
That's funny. Okay, he's funny. Okay, you got a better impression than he does, but that was decent and unexpected because I haven't seen a lot of Jay Dyer, but every time I've seen him, he's been serious. Which, like when he was live with us, that was like the first time I'd ever seen him smile. So I thought he was like completely serious, and then you're telling me he's a comedian that he starts off with, "Well, it all depends on what you mean."
I didn't see that at all. It's just funny.
That's funny.
I wasn't expecting that.
Against your Christianity, how would you take them on, given what happened to Jordan?
Well, it depends on what you mean, Pierce. Depends on what you mean.
You're better, man. Show him how it's done.
Well, it depends on what you mean.
See, that's how it's done, Jay.
How would I take them on? Well, I think there's a lot of different ways that you could critique an atheist position. Most of the time, I argue from the three branches of philosophy: epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. Those are just the three branches
logic?
of any
Ever heard of
worldview,
logic?
and everybody has.
Did he say three branches of philosophy and he left
know it
out logic?
consciously or not? So I would critique the foundations of the atheist materialist worldview to see if it's rational, if it's coherent, if it can provide a justification for knowledge or ethical oughts. So I think that would have been a much better route. In fact, Peterson used to kind of take that approach back when he debated Sam Harris. He would call out the is-ought problem with Sam Harris. When he debated Matt Dillahunty, he would call out the exact same types of preconditions for a worldview issue that I used to do, or I usually do. So I think that.
Have you ever seen that conversation?
What?
Matt Dillahunty and Jordan Peterson?
No.
Have you ever seen Richard Dawkins and Jordan Peterson?
I watched Richard Dawkins and Jordan Peterson, the one that was moderated by Cosmic Skeptic. Yeah, I watched that.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Didn't he have another?
That's the one. That's the one where, I mean, they may have had other ones. I saw that. I don't watch vast majority of stuff, even if it's people that I'm otherwise interested in. I usually watch something if something comes up and I'm like, oh, I want to make a video about that, or we're going to do a live stream or something like that. But yeah, I don't watch most stuff that comes out. But
so I'm actually right now in charge of the comments. So if I see any of those Nazi trolls, I'm just banning them right here.